have Uriel Abulov, who is joining us live from Jerusalem. He is an associate professor of political science at Tel Aviv University. Thank you for being with us. Now, how do you see things panning out with regard to the future hostage releases from here on?
It went relatively well yesterday, and to see the reunion of the families was tremendously emotional. It was a happy day, obviously, for those who were released and for their families. It seems like things are going relatively smoothly today as well. There have been a couple of breaches of the ceasefire, but relatively minor at that. And so we do expect 14 more hostages to be released today in exchange for 42 Palestinians prisoners who will be released from the Israeli side. What comes next, of course, according to the deal, is 3 more days of such an exchange until 50 Israeli hostages will be released. And then there is a possibility of extending up until to 10 days, with each day Hamas releasing 10 more Israeli hostages.
Yes. Now, as you said, an emotional day yesterday for those who were released and plenty more still being held hostage. Do you think that there is a chance of the current ceasefire being extended and future prisoner exchanges?
If you mean beyond the 4 days, then yes, there is a real possibility that the ceasefire will be extended beyond 4 days up until to 10 days. According to the original agreement, it should not extend beyond 10 days. After 10 days, the war in all likelihood will be resumed, with Israel trying to bring down the government of Hamas. I can see Hamas trying to extend the ceasefire beyond the 10 days, trying to provide, because they have, of course, many other hostages, both civilians and soldiers. I can see Hamas trying to extend the ceasefire beyond that in order to regroup and possibly not have their whole infrastructure and government dismantled. And then it will be up to Israel to decide. And a big question, of course, what will be the sort of international pressure that Israel will be facing, especially by the US. So far, at least, US President Biden assured Israel that he will endorse Israel's continuous military effort to bring down Hamas government.
Uriel, how do you analyze the reactions of Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas on the release of the hostages?
Well, for Netanyahu, as for the Hamas, I think it's mainly a question of survival. Both leadership, both Netanyahu and Netanyahu's government and Hamas government are mostly into their own survival. All the other considerations, I think, are marginal to them. That goes especially to Hamas, who couldn't care less about the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. I also think that for Netanyahu, the primary consideration is his political survival. There has been a mounting pressure in Israel itself to bring about a deal, to bring about the release of the hostages. And Netanyahu was hearing that pressure and eventually decided to go ahead with the deal. I think for the Hamas as well, the release of Palestinian prisoners in Israel itself is a very important aspect to show to the Palestinians who suffers now because of Hamas atrocities of October 7th. But overall, the goal of both of them is to linger in power as much as possible. My personal hope is that both will fail, that Israel will bring about the demise of Hamas, and that eventually the Israeli public will bring down Netanyahu's government as well. The first militarily, the second in political means.
Right. Thank you very much for being with us on this broadcast.
Thank you.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.